David Hayes, Knox County. First off, I think we need to give a lot of credit that's due to the people in the community because there was no organizing around the Office of Civil Rights complaint against y'all's institution that makes claims of racism. And there was no complaint like that. There was no organizing. This task force probably wouldn't even be here. So let's give credit where it's due, and that's to the community. I just wanted to give a response to Ms. Karen Carson you said something, I was like, wow, you actually said that for real. You was like, the conditions have to change before systemic change can happen. It's just like, if that was the case, honey, it's like, we would still be slaves. You understand that? It took a war for a lot of white people in the South to even understand that slavery wasn't cool. So let's be real about the realities and not just how we feel. I'm also disappointed about the lack of concrete actions and implication, whatever, and timelines and measurable goals and significant funds for this process. I say that because that was left out of these recommendations when that was a lot of the things I was hearing from the last forum. So I'm disappointed not to hear anything from the last forum really echoed today. So now hopefully I can get through it with this time left. I'm gonna go through a statement that Black Lives Matter Knoxville released. So Black Lives Matter Knoxville stands in solidarity with the Coalition to Stop School Pushout and has grave concerns about the erasure of racism in the discussion of disparities and the achievement gap in Knox County schools. There can never be any true restorative justice, reconciliation, or any substantial change in the lives of our youth who are on the front lines of the school-to-prison pipeline without Knox County schools' acknowledgement of its own structural racism. We see the creation of yet another task force, which a lot of us had a hand in doing, but we were organized, we wanted actual solutions, not a task force. We see the creation of yet another task force by Knox County Schools, not as a sign as Knox County Schools of addressing its own structural racism. Rather, we see it as being a hindrance to the progress that is needed to eliminate structural racism, ableism, and oppression that exists throughout Knox County schools. Significantly stronger and more specific commitments to redesign KCS's discipline policies and practices are needed in order for us to have confidence that our Black youth will not continue to be pushed out and shuttled into the criminal injustice system at such high rates. We condemn the actions of many on the task force that erase the structural racism that exists in Knox County schools. We condemn the actions of many on the task force that erase the structural racism that exists in Knox County schools from the public narrative. We oppose those who consistently leave race and racism out of the discussion during public events and interviews, especially in the context of school discipline policies. We see that as being complicit in the erasure of racism from the public narrative and story. We condemn actions by the task force that seemingly blame students in our community for behavioral disparities, which is seen at the top left corner of the handout at the last forum. Black students are not being pushed out through arrests and suspicions because they are inherently bad and misbehave. Our bodies do not fill jails, prisons, detention centers, and courthouses because we are inherently bad and misbehaved. We move through institutions that are set up for us to fail. Knox County schools' discipline policies and practices are perfect examples of structural racism that extends that achievement gap we talk about between the Black youth and their white counterparts. While definite steps like eliminate conduct prejudicial to a good order and disorderly conduct as reasonings for arrest and suspensions are encouraging, there's no reason that this latest task force cannot have been more proactive in targeting more fraudulent policies and practices that oppress our children on a daily basis. We also reject the notion that some children deserve injustice for certain crimes. Regardless of whether our students get into a fight or caught with drugs, punitive and possibly traumatizing reactions from the state that displace our youth from the classrooms and place them in the criminal injustice system are not the answer. We believe in the liberation for all Black students, regardless of their varying abilities, whether they are trans, female, male, non-binary, gay, bisexual, queer, or straight. We believe race-oriented solutions are needed for race-oriented problems. While white students often fall prey to the unjust discipline policies in Knox County schools, it is clear who was caught in a system that is both erases their Black heritage from history and punishes their Blackness in the school building. Our Black youth deserve to go to a school in an environment where they are not 2 to 4 times as likely to be arrested and suspended.